Hi everybody, Mike Pfeiffer with Pfeiffer Hobby. Today we're going to do a little, I'm going to do a little how-to. It's something I ran across doing some work on my layout, and I'm going to share it with you, and I think it's going to help a lot of us with some problems that you may or may not have had with some of the Kato Unitrack turnouts and so forth when we're doing our scenery and so forth. So let me get into this. Okay, I'm sure that everybody that uses Kato Unitrack at some point in time, if you ballast your track or even if you do scenery near the track, has gotten some glue down in it or gotten some ballast down in the hole where the switch is thrown, okay? Where the little black widgie sticks out and you can throw it by hand. And I have fought that, as many people have over a period of time. I've learned to be very careful. However, if you're not careful and if you accidentally do get some material down in there, I have two recommendations. The first one is relatively simple. You just take a shop vac and make sure there's nothing else around, but take the shop vac nozzle if you've gotten ballast down in there and stick the open end of a shop vac down over that hole where that throw bar is, and it will generally suck air through the turnout, other places in the turnout, and suck that ballast out through that hole and get rid of, if you have a bunch of it in there. That's a way to do that, providing it's not glued down in there. I always recommend when you're doing your ballasting, if you're doing ballasting or doing scenery up near the track, first of all, try and keep the stuff out of there. Second of all, if it gets in there, get it out immediately. Don't wait until stuff is done. And the third thing would be use this method that I'm going to show you after you have gotten it as clean as you can possibly get it. Let's take a look at the turnout. Okay, for my little impromptu demonstration here, I have an old power pack here. God knows how old. Obviously, you can see it's an MRC, older one, real old. I have it temporarily. I have the 16-volt AC on the back here, wired to the DC converter to the 840 switch machine, or switch throw, turnout throw. The box is on, okay, and if we take a look at our turnout here, you can see that, well, you don't know, but anyway, this double crossover was returned to us by a customer who said that it did not work. It did not work because he had painted black in here, and I don't know what the issue is with it. I haven't really explored that, but I think he's got black paint on the points of the turnout here, which is not helping anything. But nevertheless, even when I got it, these would not move, okay? So I have since freed those up. I have not cleaned down inside of here, and that would be for another video. But generally, I take, well, let me show you real quickly. Hold on one second. Okay. I don't know in today's world where one buys these, but I was willed these by a guy who used to build a lot of old HO scale metal kits back in the day. Anyway, these are burnishing brushes that you use to smooth off irregularities in a casting. I have 4 or 5 of them, but I think you could probably use a little brass brush from Harbor Freight or anything. In fact, it says, hang on one second. No, it doesn't say. It's just rough. It doesn't even say who makes this stupid thing. But anyway, to get to my point, what I do is I take this thing and put it down in here in the slot, and I just run this little wire brush back and forth. And you can, I think you may be able to already see that I've removed the majority of the paint on that throw bar. And I do the same thing back the other way. And of course you need to have the layout turned off or you'll have a short circuit. But I do that to all, if this thing was all painted, I would do that to all 4 corners and everything. And that would get the conductivity back. The next biggest problem is he had glue down in here, and every now and then when this thing is trying to throw, of course it'll throw now. I've worked it several times. Well, it takes a minute. But anyway, it's throwing back. But what I'm going to tell you is if these are stuck and they don't throw back, if you've gotten glue down underneath this particular screw right here that holds the point on the number 6, or on, in this case, in this double crossover, you may have to take that screw out and gently move those points aside, not disengaging the metal down at this end, and clean that and clean the bottom of that and put that back over there and put the screw back in. It's kind of a tedious job, but it can be done without ruining the turnout. Okay, but let's get back to where I'm going here. If this was still hanging, which it's not because I freed it up, what I have found recently is this is powdered graphite, and this is an old Katy package. But if I go in here, and if you've gotten glue down in there, and that glue happens to, if the humidity gets high and that glue gets a little bit sticky, this thing will not want to move. What I've started doing is just spraying a little puff of this down in there. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it coming out of there. There it goes. And I'm doing that to all 4 corners here. Got to shake it. And just put a puff of that down in there. And then what you can do at that point, and I'm actually doing 4 turnouts here, but then you can just slide this thing back and forth, and as you slide it back and forth with your finger, you'll immediately feel how much smoother it is. Even on a turnout that doesn't have anything in it, you just feel how much smoother it actually operates. It's almost incredible, actually. Just putting a little bit of graphite on the bottom of this black knob here that slides down on the bottom of this turnout, it becomes so much easier to push. That helps immensely. Then what I've been doing is I've been putting a little bit, whoa, I've got a major leak in my bottle. Sorry about that, guys. But you get the idea. I put a little bit down in the corners here, or where the ties are, and you can move that back and forth. And I've got a gob here, but nevertheless, and then just operate that back and forth, and you will find that it even works smoother yet. This one here doesn't want to operate at all because I've got too much junk in there. But anyway, we're going to do all 4 corners here. And what that does is put some of that lubricant on the bottom side of the points and allows them to slide better. Boy, I got a mess on me here. Hang on one second. Anyways, let me see if I can zoom in. I can't zoom in with this camera, but let me just throw this thing real quick. I did this to my double crossover, which I have gotten some ballast down in and some glue over where it's located under my window. And it just started all of a sudden, with me having trouble with it before, just started working fabulously. I guess that's really it. That's the tip. And I think it will help a lot of people with this problem that you may or may not have with these turnouts. But I hope it does help you in some way. And I really apologize for my mess here, but I think the tube has a crack in it. It's so old it broke open. Anyway, I got a mess to clean up here, so I will let you guys go, and that's the tip for today. Okay, everybody, that's how you get a Kato turnout. I'm trying to break myself. How you get a Kato turnout to function once you've gotten some glue in it. The graphite definitely helps. I've gone around, not quite all the way around, but I've gone around my layout and done most of my turnouts on the layout, whether they needed it or not, just because I think it works so well. So if I was you, I'd give it a try, and thanks for watching.